Good day, esteemed colleagues, industry leaders, and the media. It's a privilege to be here in front of you right now, not just as a CEO of Nestle Malaysia, but also a fellow custodian of an industry that is being reshaped by ESG. You may ask, what is ESG? Environmental, social, and governance principles that has been the driving force for companies across all industries at this current age. It's 2025, and you might be wondering why ESG and why now. Nestle has adopted purpose as its growth driver for this year and for the next few years. 88% of Malaysians want to live a more sustainable lifestyle. 66% of consumers want to support environmentally sustainable brands. 84% of Gen Z and millennials are keen on supporting products which are environmentally friendly. And in Malaysia alone, 20 billion ringgit Malaysia has been invested into ESG-based initiatives. How we market is just as important as what we market. Now, there comes challenges. Number one, skepticism of greenwashing, and number two, the lack of awareness and transparency on ESG-based initiatives and its impacts. Now, it is important for other brands to mirror what Nestle has been doing, which is to shop and keep it transparent when it comes to our ESG initiatives and how it has impacted the environment. Now, some of the pillars that Nestle is leveraging on to push through our ESG initiatives is through investments. We have invested 150 million ringgit Malaysia into ESG-based initiatives across the nation. We are responsibly sourcing palm oil since 2022 with limited to zero damage to our forests across the country. Additionally, Nestle has set a target to achieve a net zero gas emission by the year 2050. However, these big goals and objectives are also plagued with its own challenges. Some of the most common challenges that Nestle is currently facing right now is the complexity of ESG frameworks, as ESG is very new to the market and most industries are coping with mechanisms on how they can leverage on ESG into its business. Alignment of global practices and objectives is something that Nestle is challenged with, in which we need to cater our objectives and our mechanisms to align with national and international standards. This, however, opens up opportunities for Nestle to be the pioneer in forming the national policy for ESG. Another opportunity that's present is through localized ESG storytelling. Nestle Malaysia will be able to benefit by using local ESG success stories to help create awareness and also spearhead its growth. Now, reporting ESG-based impacts and initiatives can be the key differentiator for your company to excel in the market. Now let's talk about Nestle Malaysia's biggest ESG project to date, Project Relief. The challenge: 15,000 hectares of land is being degraded yearly, and we saw an opportunity over here. The opportunity was to spearhead reforestation, to restore biodiversity, and also improve the carbon offset. The objective that was set: to plant 3 million trees by end of 2025, in which 2.5 million trees have already been planted as of Q4 2023, and 2,800 hectares of land has been rehabilitated in Perak and Sabah thus far. One of the strategic insights that we have learned from this initiative is the restoration efforts build a lasting, purpose-driven legacy for Nestle and our products. We believe that through doing good socially is equally strategic for Nestle's growth. And through our Nestle Healthier for Kids campaign, we have reached to approximately 149,000 kids since the year 2010, in which we have enriched them with the knowledge of nutrition, health, and also self-care. We have reformulated most of our products and reduced the sugar intake by 30%, and 50% of salt was reduced in some of our products, such as Maggi. This was rolled out to tackle the challenge of obesity within children, in which 1 out of 3 kids in Malaysia are at the risk of obesity. It is a national priority and an opportunity to be seized to create awareness on nutritional value to our consumers, which will increase the brand's loyalty. Solving health-related problems generates brand equity, something advertisements alone will not be able to tackle. Governance isn't just about audit trails and compliance checklists. It's about trust. Nestle Malaysia has successfully achieved a 100% traceable palm oil supply since 2022. We have contributed to no deforestation in the past 5 years, and we are the proud recipients of the Silver Award from ESG Awards in 2024. The challenge that we wanted to overcome was the fact that one misstep in governance may lead to years of loss in brand equity. 6.5% of market capital is lost due to ESG scandals alone. The opportunity that we want to tap into through governance is by increasing the transparency of supply chain management. Through the transparency of supply chain, we were able to achieve a higher confidence level for consumers, which resulted in better scalability and profitability towards the company. Governance is not just a marketing technique, but it has evolved into a marketing asset. But does ESG actually pay off? Let me answer this question. ESG has acted as a business growth catalyst for Nestle Malaysia over the past few years. We have experienced a 7.05 billion ringgit Malaysia in growth year over year for the past 5 years. Our ESG driven products have seen twice the growth rate as opposed to our other products. 70% of Malaysian consumers factor in ESG initiatives in their purchase decisions, according to PwC. Now, the challenge was to find a balance between short-term profits against long-term ESG outcomes. In short, purpose sells. We took into the opportunity of green financing, ESG fund allocation, and also our existing loyal customers to scale our business better. ESG is not only good for the planet, but it's also good for our business. Now let's talk about CEO moves. The road ahead of us is not going to be easy. But rather than looking at these challenges as roadblocks, let's focus on them as invitations of growth. In terms of your ESG initiatives, keep your message simple, have a localized storytelling, focus on your people, product, and your governance to propel your company's growth. This is not just a job for sustainability, but it's a CEO's mandate. Let's close with this. ESG is not a cost center, but it's a trust center. It is not a constraint, but an opportunity to reinvent. It is not just a trend, but it is the standard of leadership. Now, I would like to open the floor for any questions.
How do you ensure that ESG initiatives at Nestle are not just greenwashing, but genuinely impacting and transparent?
That's a very important question. And to address that, in Nestle Malaysia, we believe that every ESG claim is backed with data. So as addressed earlier, Project Relief and also Milo's Greener Every Day, we have facts and figures that actually substantiates our initiatives. For example, with Project Relief, we have set a target of 3 million trees to be planted, and we are almost there. And in terms of our Milo Greener Every Day campaign, we have significantly reduced our plastic usage by 11 tons annually in just schools alone. So when these claims are backed with data, I believe it is more transparent.